how's it been so far? I mean, it's been what, 4 months, 5 months, whatever it's been.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day right now, but it's been great. I'll tell you, the transition has been relatively smooth, right? Come in and 2 or 3 days here doing HR, getting the lay of the land, and then I hit the road for recruiting. So you really have no time to check up, you just start rolling. And so that was great. And then right out of recruiting, we have some time with the guys with OTAs. So we're right into install, we're right into teaching, and then class in the grass, which was great. And then we take spring break. My wife and I took a few days off and disappeared for a few days. I put my phone away, didn't take it on vacation. But then we came back and got right to spring practice, which has been great. So it's been good.
Obviously, Coach Clausen retires or
Yes.
steps away. But what drew you to this job in particular, and how'd you end up here?
I tell you, my whole career, my goal has been to chase people, right? And I've been fortunate to work for some really good head coaches, Coach Clausen being one of them. And every head coach that I've worked for, from the coach that I played for that hired me as a GA to my very first job, Mike Ayers, down in Spartanburg at Wofford College, to now with Coach Smith. It's been the head coach, it's been the people, how they run the program. And I look at this program, and Coach Smith has been successful everywhere he's been. Right, he's done it the right way, recruiting the right kids, hiring the right coaches, but he's also raising a family, right? And so I think those things, you can do those things really well together, but you got to have a head coach that's aligned that way. And so working for Coach Smith was a big draw, and then having the opportunity to talk to Coach Rossi. I've seen him work over the last few years, and knowing what he does on defense. Really aggressive, right? We're going to get after some people on Saturdays on defense. So just to have an opportunity to work with him and work under him was what drew me here. And then I think, as you guys know, college football is changing, right? And as the landscape changes, I feel like Michigan State is positioned to be competitive in all arenas, in recruiting, in development, in retention, and then obviously what we do on Saturday. So it was a no-brainer, right? I was almost begging Coach to, hey man, if you crack the door, I'm in, But it's been a great opportunity so far.
How much does your Big Ten experience that year at Purdue help with the transition here to just understand not just the lay of the land, but what is needed for these guys to compete at that level?
Oh, it's huge. I think from everything from the expectation of the fan base, right, and the expectation of what you're developing and putting on the field every Saturday. I know Big Ten football, man, on Saturdays is different. And so just having that experience at Purdue with Jeff Brom, I think prepared me to come here and get right to work, right? No days off mentality from recruiting to development, and understanding that we're recruiting the best, right? And all these kids that come here have a plan to play at the next level. And so, yes, we're developing them to help us win games here on Saturday, but there's also the plan at the end, right? We start everything with the end in mind. So getting guys who want to play in the NFL, getting in guys that are willing to put in the work and develop themselves to do it.
Got a little experience in your room that you walk into.
Oh my gosh.
The guy in the league.
Yes.
Dylan, just what do you think about the guys you inherit? And
oh man,
how's it been going so far?
I thank Coach Blue every day, because it's an older group, as you know, veteran group. We've got 5 seniors, redshirt junior, a couple redshirt sophomores, some guys with some playing experience. But beyond that, I think Coach Blue did a phenomenal job last year just setting the foundation, right? Coming in, teaching this defense, setting the tone, the standard for how we work, how we show up every day, how we play, the how that we play with on defense. And so when I stepped in, I told him, I said, guys, I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I'm not here to tear anything down or break anything up, because it's already rolling. And so it's been really good to step into a situation where you've got older guys that are mature, guys with experience, and they're all hungry. Right, the biggest problem I have is trying to find these guys reps, right? Because they all want to get out there and practice and perform.
How tough is it to find a singular home for a guy like Dylan who can play some different positions? Or do you even want that? Would you rather have a guy like a Swiss Army knife?
No, it's not hard at all, because the way our defense is structured, his skill set speaks to a number of positions, right? And again, the hardest thing is for me finding when to put him in and where to put him in. Right, because you've got 3 or 4 other guys that are also pushing and competing for a spot. But I will say this, Dylan and the rest of the guys in the room have done a great job just embracing, right, the challenge of being ready to go at a moment's notice, right? So there's next man up mentality in the room that, yes, I may be playing nickel today, but tomorrow we may have a guy go down, or maybe somebody be sick, and now I've got to play free safety. So the challenge for them is to be locked in the meetings, and they're not just learning one position, they're learning 3 positions. Right, and so it just helps them give them a better feel for what we're doing defensively. But when that moment arises that they need to step up into a new role, they're ready to go.
How would you feel like you and Blue work to mesh together? Are you guys more different? You kind of fill in the gaps between you? Or are you more
No.
alike? How's that?
I think we're more alike. You know, we speak the same language. You know, you talk about technique, playing defensive back, whether you're a safety, nickel, or corner. He and I speak the same language. I think what Coach Blue brings is a different type of energy. You know, we're kind of a yin and yang energy-wise. Coach Blue from the door, boom, he's going to hit you with some energy, make you get on your feet. I'm a little more slow released. You know, over time, sustained energy, try to keep you going. So he starts you off in the front, and I'll keep you going on the back end. But I think the in-between, just his experience, you know, both coaching in college and the pros, my experience with coaching guys, we've kind of been able to bounce some ideas off of each other and also like figure out how we can put our guys right here at Michigan State in the best position possible to be productive.
You said you want to play an aggressive style that kind of fits the defense. I think you just think aggressive with defensive backs. I think interceptions and really like sticking in coverage. But it seems like you could be aggressive in a lot of other ways. You know, zone coverage, really blitzing the defensive back.
No
position.
question.
How, I guess, like how is the aggression something that you want to sort of fit into every little thing that you do in the defensive back room?
Absolutely. I think it's a mindset, right? It's aggression, but it's also being smart, right? And for us, we want the guys to be productive on the ball. So whether that's tackles, interceptions, PBUs, right? Opportunities, the impact of football. And sometimes that's with a coverage call, sometimes it's with a technique. Most of the time it's just with football IQ, understanding what we're trying to get out of the call, understanding how the offense is going to try to attack us in a situation and being able to position themselves to make plays on the football. Right, so it is an aggressive defense. A lot of it is calls, some of it is technique, but also in between the ears, the guys understanding how can I not just line up and execute this coverage, but put myself in position to take this football away, give it back to the offense.
When you come into a new staff, what is like as a coach, what are the key things early on, be it with the staff or players, that make that relationship really work going forward? What are the key things right now in the first few months?
I think for me as an assistant coach is just getting aligned, right? Getting aligned with the vision of the head coach, the vision of the coordinator. It takes for me to conform, right? Getting in, meeting all the staff and the support staff and figuring out like how do we do things here, right? So everybody talks about culture, but it's really hard to put your thumb on what that means. But for me, I just think it's how you do things. So as I come in as a new assistant coach, I ask a lot of questions. Okay, how do we do this? Or what do we do here? Or what's our thought here? So I can like conform and fall in line to the vision that coach has set. My job as an assistant is not to come in here and just shake things up. It's not why you hired me, right? It's to come in and figure out where I can add value, but also align with what vision coach has already set forth for the staff.